All right, Jack, it's wiffle ball season. We got another podcast here for the folks to get us ready for 2025. We have a special guest from the Great Lakes Gators joining us, rookie Dustin Staggs. We are breaking down all of our Slate 1 predictions and brainstorming our challenge, our wager, our bet to follow up last year's Waffle House Challenge. A tough act to follow, I must say. But Jack and I have some thoughts we're going to share with you today. We're encouraging you all to brainstorm too. But great interview, Jack, we had with Dustin Staggs, might I say.
Awesome. I mean, I would say in one of the top 3 interviews we've had so far this year.
I would agree,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion. Tough to beat out Mark and tough to beat out Greg, but Dustin,
True.
he came in there. He came in there at number 3, so I think it was a great interview.
Yeah, agreed. So enjoy it. This is the Pipe It Up podcast, and cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. And Jack, Wiffle Ball season is officially here. Opening day has come and gone. Fans haven't seen it yet, but games have been played, and it's Wiffle Ball season, and I'm pretty pumped. How you feeling?
Pumped for sure. I'm not going to give any details, but I did hear through the grapevine that opening day was electric, to say the least. So I'm super pumped to see that video come out. It feels like it's real for a few different reasons. It feels like the season's back for a lot of different reasons, but what really got me was this week, Tommy and I notes apping our picks to each other.
Yeah, true.
For the upcoming slate. That was what really hit me. Like, man, it's wiffle ball season. It's here.
It is upon us, and it is wild. And I'll just say, spoiler alert, but not really. It didn't feel like opening day because the weather, Jack, at the Meadows was just spectacular this weekend.
Yeah.
We played opening day. It was a beautiful day. I got sunburnt. Video listeners, take a look at the tan line, more like the burn line. So it's not even May yet, and I already got the farmer's tan rolling, which is just what we needed at this point in time. But yeah, it felt good to be back out there. It felt weird. No spring training this year, which I typically play in, so it was odd to just jump right in against the D-backs nonetheless. And I mean, what'd you expect, Jack? You knew it'd be electric. I can't remember the last time the Mallards and the D-backs didn't have an electric series. So there were fireworks, and that's expected. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to break that one down.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have to try to get some of those goofballs on there. Good to see everybody. The D-backs are an interesting group of guys. Good guys, but interesting group of guys, to say the least. And it was good to see, Mr. Mark sitting there taking the stats, getting the scoreboard up to date. You had Kyle behind the camera, and it's just, we're back. MLW is back.
It really has flown by. I'm gonna be honest. It kind of snuck up on me. Like, I'm sure it snuck up on you too, just like opening day.
Yeah, it did.
But it's here.
It's here. It's weird. Yeah, I'm not really in summer mode yet, but that definitely was like, whoa, it was a beautiful day. It's wiffle ball. It's summer. So it was exciting. Gear up for it. Friday at 4 o'clock, of course. It'll be on the YouTube channel. Definitely drop your predictions in the comments. But speaking of predictions, Jack, we do have some Slate 1 predictions to make here before we welcome on a guest here in 15 minutes or so.
Yes.
Then we got to figure out our wager here, or at least get the ideas flowing, because I think by the end of Slate 1, we got to kind of have this thing nailed down in terms of what the loser's doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's a fair goal. It's not like we had a full year or anything to come up with a new punishment. But I think we can give ourselves to the end of the slate here to really lock one in. We want it to be good. Like, I think, looking back, the Waffle House Challenge, that live stream, I mean, if you haven't watched that live stream yet and you're listening to this podcast, maybe we picked you up after that. But you should go back and watch that live stream, or at least just poke through it, because that was electric. There were a lot of people, hating on us, thinking that we copped out. We made some adjustments on the fly, some rule adjustments on the fly, but I want to lock this challenge in so that, last year ending in a tie was pretty crazy.
It was.
Like, that was pretty crazy. I mean, it's there's a lot of things that have to go right for that to happen. So I don't expect that this year, and so I want to make sure this challenge lives up to the last one.
Yeah. So before we start, Jack, I want to make sure that we're clear on the rules, you and I, as well as the fans at home. So I believe, if my memory is correct, Jack, on last year's rules, if you correctly predict a series winner, whether it's 2-1 or 3-0, if you're correct on who wins the series, that is 2 points. And if you correctly predict whether it was 2-1 or 3-0 and the winner's correct, then that's 3 points. And if we both have the exact same prediction and that thing is true, then we go to a tiebreaker to get that additional third point. Only one of us will get 3 points. The other one will get 2 for that week. Does that all sound true to you?
Correct. Yep.
And are you okay with that? Do you want to make any changes?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe I think we've got enough time where we could think of something special for the All-Star. Or no, are we doing an All-Star game this year, or is it something else now because we don't have divisions?
I think it is to be announced.
Am I not allowed to say that?
It's to be announced, but I kind of know what's going on, and there is an All-Star day / weekend.
We've said that on the podcast.
On the schedule, the fans can see that, so they know there's something. So I agree that we should maybe incorporate a point or two into that weekend / event.
Yeah, something like that, where I just think that would really help. That could swing some things and make it interesting.
I agree.
So I can't remember what we did last year for the All-Star game. That being said, the rules are the rules, and you are equally as accountable to this than I am. But my one rule is, I would say I do not want a series to go unpredicted, to not count
I would
towards
agree.
the points. Because last year, it was very fun to do the stream with you, but last year that screwed me.
It did.
Not getting a pick in that would have benefited me.
We think so. Allegedly.
We think allegedly. Fair enough. Allegedly.
Who knows what would have happened, Jack?
That would be my rule. That would be my one ask. So you and I are both equally as responsible and accountable for that.
We are. I'll try to keep my eyes and ears out for when things are being played. That really only applies to slates 4 and 5, Jack, when things start to move. We're time traveling, as we say on this podcast. So we'll try to be alert to that. But I'm excited. And you ready to dive into the predictions?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, slate 1, we have Mallards, D-backs, Cobras, Cats, Gators, Eagles, and Preds versus Magic. Starting with opening day, Mallards versus D-backs. I will go first here, Jack. I'm going, breaks my heart, going 2-1 D-backs. I think chemistry is a big factor here. The D-backs have really built, a vibe tribe like the Cobras did. I think it's going to play into their favor a lot. And I also know, candidly speaking, that this team's been grinding in the offseason. They do practice a lot indoors, outdoors. It's just a group that loves wiffle ball. I got some guys on my team, but I think that they're going to be more opening day ready. But I know we're going to compete because we always find a way to against the D-backs. So I'm going to go 2-1 D-backs.
Yeah, I mean, I got the same pick. I think for a lot of the same reasons. I think they're going to be ready to go. It's hard to bet against Jimmy in any series. I do think that we're going to see some stuff from Nick Saylor. So I'm going 2-1 D-backs. I think it'll be tight. Hopefully there's not another 15 inning game or whatever you guys did.
I would say extra innings probability
it's just
is high.
home runs strictly. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so first tiebreaker situation here. Jack and I decided that for slate 1, we're going to be doing over-under on home runs. We return to our buddy Stats Sean here to set ourselves a line for the over-under on home runs. And according to Sean, either over last season or over the last 2 seasons, I think it was last season, the average home runs over the course of 3 MLW games was about 4.8 home runs. So we're setting our line at 4.5. Slight advantage does go to the over. I will be picking first here on the tiebreaker side of things. So I'm going to take the under on this one. Despite the odds being worse, I'm going under on this one because these two teams tend to play in low-scoring games. That's my logic. So I'm going to go under 4.5 home runs, which would leave you to the over, Jack.
Was it 4.8? I couldn't remember. I thought it might have been less than that.
No, I believe it was
doesn't
4.8.
matter, but
yeah.
Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 4.5 is what we'll go for the series. Let's remember that one. Let's remember that as well. That you're going first on this one, because then I get next pick on any other tiebreakers, right?
Yes, we'll keep track throughout the season, because if there's a scenario where one of us gets more in a certain slate, like next week, we'll make sure to pick up where we left off, if that makes sense.
Perfect. All right, cool.
Okay.
Also, just thought of a rule. Let me just throw this out there.
Throw it out there.
Let me just throw this out there. I'll do it because this is a series that I feel very confident in. This next pick, I feel very confident in my pick.
Okay.
So what if we did something that was kind of like a super pick, where you're basically you're putting like your personal guarantee on it. So like you can maybe do this one time a slate. So if you put let's just say you put your PG on it, like you get an extra point or 2 points or something. But if that one doesn't come true, then maybe you get like a deduction or something. I'm just trying to think of like, super what if pick. Someone ends up pulling away here, and that could have some implications for like trying to come back in the race. I don't know. That literally just popped into my mind, so we can think about that one. But while you're thinking about that and pondering, I will go next series here, Cobras Cats. I'm going to go 3-0 Cats.
Oh, sweet.
I really like this matchup for the Wildcats. I think that after what happened to them last year against the Cobras in Brooklyn, I believe, they're really going to have this one circled on their calendar. I think their new roster is just going to come out firing, ready to go. I know Pat's been putting in the work. I think he's really going to limit the Cobras' offense in this series, and I think the Cats will take all three.
Okay. I like that, and I do think the Cats have the edge in this one. However, I went 2-1 Cats, so we're different here. An opportunity for one of us to gain an extra point if the Cats were to win the series. Again, I think they have the edge. I think it's tough to sweep this Cobras team. They're gritty, and these two teams know each other. I just see Drew Davis kind of sneaking one in this series. Very similar to, I think, how the Mallards will sneak one against the D-backs. So I have 2-1 Cats. We'll come back to the super pick idea, Jack. I'm pondering it.
Okay. Ponder.
Gators, Eagles. Yes, it's simmering. I got it on low. I brought it to a boil, put it to low, put a lid on it, and I'm going to think about it. Gators, Eagles. I'm going to go 2-1 Gators here. A little bit of a risky pick to pick a team that missed the playoffs to then beat a team that just won the World Series. But I feel like we've seen that, World Series hangover type series before in MLW. Just last year, Jack, I believe the Eagles came back and swept you all. Is that correct? In opening day on that first series of the year? I think that's how it went.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And I can remember us losing to the Wildcats in the World Series, and then I think we beat them in the first slate of the next year. So I feel like you come back a little hungry with a chip on your shoulder. I think this Gators offense is much improved, and I just think they're going to find a way. So I don't know, just a gut pick, 2-1 Gators.
Yeah, I'm for you YouTube watchers. You're watching me smile as Tommy picks this one, because this was like, this was me thinking like, oh, this is my sharp pick for the slate, right? I'm going to pick the Gators, over the defending champs Eagles for all of the same reasons that Tommy just said. And then, it's pretty funny here that now we have the same pick, which leads me to believe it's probably going to be an Eagles sweep now. That's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, no, I have the same pick, 2-1 Gators. So with that pick, I'm the tiebreaker, and I'm going to take the over home run total. So over 4.5 home runs.
All right. And last but not least, Jack, do you want to get us into Magic versus Preds?
Why not? Let's do it. This shouldn't come to any shocker here for you guys, but I'm going with the Magic. Can't pick against my own team, even if there's waffles on the line. and honestly, like the Predators, I would call it a rivalry, but I don't really think it is one. I mean, the Magic seem to own the Predators for whatever reason, in our all-time matchups. So especially as of late. I can't even honestly remember. I'd have to have Stats Sean tell me when we lost to him last. He'd probably just know it right off the top of his head. But it feels like it's been a while. I feel like we do well against them. So I like our chances. I like our new guys, coming in for this first slate. I think we'll match up well.
All right. I also have 2-1 Magic, Jack. And this one I'm, in hindsight, after seeing you had already picked the Magic too, like if I had known you were going to go Magic, I probably should have. I might have went towards the Preds here. I think Evan Porter, the rookie, is kind of the X factor in this series for me. There's a lot of rookies at play because you're going to have some rookies going as well.
Yeah.
This is a tough one to predict. I could see, as Evan does play the MLW style quite a bit, so I could see him actually doing well, but it's a big stage. He's young. It's a very, he's not used to these Preds guys and playing with them, and we'll see how he fits in. So, I don't know. I could see you guys winning game 2. The Preds do have Ryan Kratch, so it's hard to count him out ever. I did go 2-1 Magic.
The Magic do have RJ Walgate.
You do have RJ Walgate. It's a fair point, Jack. But again, same as you. To my surprise, we had 3 of the same picks here. Extra tiebreaker for me, so next time you will go first, Jack. But I have the over in this one, so I'm going to go a lot of bombs in this guy, mostly because of Ryan Kratch. The Preds just have a lot of power top to bottom, so I think the Preds are going to supply possibly even 5 on their own, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good pick.
So, the super pick idea, Jack. We do have Dustin Staggs waiting in the lobby now, so we'll come back to the wager ideas we have, but the super pick idea, I like it, but similar to the tiebreaker, Jack, we can't both be super picking on the same team in the same slate. So I guess I started tiebreaker. We can let you start super pick this week, and we'll have to alternate who goes first, and you can't pick the same team as the other person. Well, I guess you can pick the same.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Are we going team or are we going exact?
What if we could do it? We could do it. I don't know. We'll have to think. I was thinking if there was a way to even it out more, like if the loser of the prior slate gets
a super pick,
first super pick.
I do kind of like that a lot, Jack. You're thinking,
and so you have to. If you're the winner of the last slate, you should have 2 super picks. If you want to make one, it's optional. That was what I was going to say. Is you don't have to make one.
Okay.
We could make it non-optional. If you make it non-optional, it would actually, in some ways, maybe make it easier for someone to come back.
I kind of
if
agree.
The person in first place wasn't hitting their super pick.
I think it should be mandatory just to make some more possible craziness happen.
Yeah, that'll be great for us keeping score. That'll be fantastic.
So it's either a +1 or a -1. Is that how we want to do it? Either you gain a point or you're deducted a point?
I feel like that's probably that sounds like the easiest way to do it.
So it really could be like you get a 4-pointer, or you could get like potentially a -1. It could be a 5-point swing in one series. Pretty nuts.
It could. Well, no. So if
you're both in that same series,
not if you get it right.
Super pick the same series. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, oh, true. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, we would have to define if the super pick would be outcome, like exact outcome based, or just winner based. Like for example, if I made my pick, the super pick, the Wildcats against the Cobras, and it ends up being 2-1 Cats, do I still get 2 points, or is that -1 point for me now because I made it my super pick? You see what I'm saying?
I think maybe you get 1 point if you get it exactly right. If your team still wins the series, then it's just a wash. And then if you're totally wrong, then it'd be -1. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Or is that no good?
Because I feel like you should still get rewarded if you pick the game, the winner right.
Okay, so, or
is that not what you just said?
I said one. I said you get the super point if you predicted it spot on, like 2-1.
Okay.
3-0 Cats is what happens. If it's 2-1 Cats, you would just not get a super point, but you wouldn't lose anything. If it was like the Cobras won that series, you'd get -1.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I follow you.
Just a thought. I mean,
well, let's simmer. Let's let it simmer.
Okay, we'll come back to it after we talk to Dustin. How's that sound?
Yeah. We'll definitely have it ironed out by the next podcast. But I think why don't we? I think we both are in agreement that we can't have the same super pick. So we
Correct.
can start this in Slate 2, where the loser of Slate 1 gets the first super pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not.
That's what I'm
opposed to
saying.
that.
So like
Start it in
the
slate 2.
loser, yeah,
No,
and then
I understand
whoever
what you're
loses
saying about who loses the first slate, then they get to make the first super pick in slate 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I like that. All right, we'll come back to this, Jack. Let's table this conversation. We'll circle back, and we'll get Dustin in here and chat with him for a little while. What up? Look at that setup.
Wow.
What's going on, fellas?
It's pretty.
Wow. For
you look better than both of us.
Welcome Dustin Staggs. For the YouTube watchers, this might be the most professional setup we've ever had for a guest on Pipe It Up, outside of maybe Sparky here.
True.
Outside of Sparky
had a pretty good setup.
For MLW player, this is incredible. Welcome to the podcast, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you. Thanks for joining on late notice. Dustin Staggs, ladies and gentlemen, your number 2 overall pick this year, going to the Gators, joining Sawyer B and Chris Cheatham and company. And Dustin, I feel like this is an interesting interview for Jack and I because maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we've met. Have we, Dustin?
No.
No.
You guys do not know me, but I know you. I've been a listener and watcher of this pod for a while now.
Oh, this is a great place to start then.
Fantastic.
Let's just start right there. When did you start tuning into MLW content, and when did you start tuning into Pipe It Up content?
MLW in general, like I mean, I've seen it forever since I was a kid. I can't remember exactly when, but I started watching pretty consistently 2019-ish. I don't know. I fell in love with Alec Warda, which is funny, but
Who doesn't love that guy?
but yeah, I mean, I've been watching pretty consistently now, and obviously I've gotten to know a lot of these guys, so it's nice to come full circle and be talking to you guys here.
Warda's a very, very likable player. I could see what you saw in him. When did you start listening to the podcast?
I go through my cycles. You know,
That's fair.
I would listen, I'd say 2 years ago, pretty consistently, and then I stopped, and then I picked it up last year towards the end of the season, and then all through the postseason and off season, and then yeah, it's been every week for at least 8 months now.
So knowing this now, the main question here of this entire interview, which leads into what we were talking on before we had you on, actually, is who were you rooting for in the Waffle House Challenge between myself and Tom?
Don't do this to me.
Because we gotta know. You were definitely rooting for someone.
I was rooting for Waffle House. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does count.
Why would you bet against the house? That's the thing. No pun intended.
Yeah,
Why would you bet against the house? I can tell you that Waffle House, it beat me. I don't know about Jack. I feel like Jack kind of got the upper hand in the end, but I did not.
No, there were no winners other than the house that day.
Well, Dustin.
So Dustin was right to do that.
Yeah, you were. Before we get into the next question, you can think about this during the interview if you have any ideas. But Jack and I are currently brainstorming ideas for what the loser of this year's prediction challenge has to do. So if you got any ideas, feel free to fire away now or at the conclusion of this interview. So keep that in mind. Food for thought. Well, cool. So glad you know a little bit about us. We don't know much about you besides you've been watching since 2019 and listening to the pod for 8 months straight. But tell the people like how old you are, where you're initially from, and like how you and wiffle ball ended up together. How'd you get a wiffle ball in your hand for the first time, and when did that happen?
So I'm 20, Fullerton, California, born and raised, been here my whole life. I grew up playing baseball, so wiffle ball was always there. Me and my buddies that helped me start my league in California, we would play out in front of their backyard, and yeah, I mean that's kind of where it started. But obviously, with time, we grew away from it, and then COVID kind of brought it back into our lives. We started doing some stuff online, posting some videos, and fell back in love with it. And then I honestly, the way that I met Sawyer, you guys know Sawyer and I are pretty close, and that's kind of been my into the league. But the way that I met him wasn't through the normal backyard style of wiffle ball that everyone played growing up. It was fast pitch. Funny enough, I DM'd him. Well, to go back, I DM'd Grant first. I wanted G
Ooh,
Millie to come out and play in a tournament with me, but he's got his family, he had some stuff going on, so he couldn't come. Sawyer was able to come play in a tournament with me, and things kind of took off from there. We started traveling a lot together, and now we're here.
that's cool.
That's amazing. When did it kind of when did the first conversation happen where Sawyer was like, maybe threw out the idea of you actually playing in MLW, or was it you who kind of engaged that conversation? Like, how did that all play out?
I mean, anyone that watches MLW as a kid, it's their dream to play in it, right? So, him and I were out in Pennsylvania for a fast pitch tournament. We were playing Maz, himself, JP, and I. We were all on the same team, and after we had a bad day, honestly, we went 1-2 and got eliminated early. I was like, I love playing with these guys, so why not ask them how I could get in? So this is probably April last year that the initial thought had come, and then he let me know it's going to be tough. Like, it's obviously I'm on the other side of the nation, so it's a journey for me. But he had told me that if we went to Whifflin in the Mitten and I played well there, and then we played together at UIFs, that it would open up Chris's eyes into maybe joining the Gators. And we won Whiffle in the Mitten. We did well at UIFs, and then I got the okay from there to kind of come and join the Gators.
How often have you chatted with Chris Cheatham? What are your initial thoughts on the skipper for the Gators? He's quite the character.
I love Chris, man. The short conversations that I've had with him. I was on Zoom with him for a little bit for the draft thing, and we've texted back and forth, but I love it so far. So far, he seems very straightforward, and he seems like a guy that I would love to play for.
He's a great guy. You got a good skipper. What is like? I'm curious. You obviously being in California, long way from Michigan, but obviously you don't seem foreign to traveling a lot for wiffle ball, which that's not necessarily normal for everyone. Like what is the support or reaction from like your friends, family, kind of like outside of your wiffle ball sphere when you tell them like this is kind of like the stuff that you're doing, and hey, I'm playing in this league now. Like when you got drafted, what was the feedback and reaction from like the people around you?
Well, the girlfriend was upset because it's more time away. But overall, it was pretty good. The feedback was nice because most of my friends I've played wiffle ball with. There's very few between that I haven't. So they all know MLW. They were all very supportive of it, and I work full time. I'm a plumber, so if your water heater goes out again, you let me know, Jack.
Okay, I will.
I got a plumbing
for
issue.
sure.
For reasons I don't want to disclose, my toilet's currently out of commission. So, Dustin, if you could stop by my place after your first series, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
True,
send me
true
the
story.
address. I'll make it happen.
For some reason, my toilet never flushes on the first try. Don't know why. So maybe when you're in town for your first series, you could stop by.
Yeah, I'll have to stop by and meet you guys. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah, well, I got this plumber Rob, and he hasn't been showing up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was too stinky last time I called him, but he's not coming by to fix my issue. So that's cool. I respect that you're a plumber. We need more people in the trades in this country, Jack. We need more of the blue collar workforce. So good for you. And I had another question for you. I'm blanking now.
Well,
Give me
on
a
that
line,
note,
Jack.
while Tommy's blanking, did you just like go straight into that trade out of high school, or did you go to college at all? Like, how did you decide, hey, I'm going to be a plumber?
Well, my dad is a plumber. My dad runs the company that I work at, so I've been around it my whole life. All the guys that I work with now that are 40 and 50, they're like my uncles, which is a little weird, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
growing up, I would go out there during the summer and mess around with it and make a little bit of money. And then after high school, I did the first year of college online and worked full time. And I kind of looked at my options and decided that going full time would be a better option for me, and really focusing on that. And with wiffle ball and everything, it takes up a lot of time. So I kind of had to make a decision, and the path that I was on led me to just go all in with it.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
I remember my question, Jack. It's not plumbing related. We can get back to that at a different date. But I noticed I haven't seen a bunch of film on you. I've never watched you play in person, I don't think. Maybe at one of the U.S. tournaments, I'm not sure. But your swing is pretty unique, and it reminds me a little bit of a Dallas Allen or a Jimmy Norp in our league, where you have really all your weight on your back foot and your feet are pretty close together. And then you got a lot of momentum going forward, and it seems like your timing is like really important in that swing. And you said you grew up playing baseball. Is your wiffle ball swing, and has it evolved to be more wiffle ball friendly and wiffle ball centric, or is that how you also hit in baseball?
So I have two swings for wiffle ball. I have my fast pitch swing and I have my medium pitch swing. So
Oh,
what you
okay.
guys are going to see in MLW is completely different than what was shown in the draft.
Interesting.
But the fast pitch side of things, it did come pretty much directly from baseball. Obviously, swinging the bat isn't a baseball thing beforehand, but it's all the mechanics have translated from baseball over to wiffle ball pretty nicely. I've always had quick hands, so it was a nice aspect to be able to have that and then just add the timing mechanism. But yeah, it's a completely different swing in this style that we play with the yellow stick than we do with the big barrel bats.
So how does it differ? What's it going to
Hmm.
look like? If you could explain a little bit verbally.
My feet, my feet will not be together. My feet are very wide. I'm pretty in my legs, almost looking like an awkward squat. But
Mm-hmm.
the point of it is to try to get my hands quicker to the ball because there's less of a distance and all that. But
Interesting. I didn't know
That's
that.
interesting. I wish I was good enough to have two swings. I think I might have I think I have three swings. I have swing and a miss, I have swing and a pop up, and I have no swing strikeout looking. I think those are my three swings.
Yeah, the timing thing is so key. I don't want to. That doesn't really give anything away, but that was actually what I told Trey and Jordan and Jorgie yesterday at the Meadows before our game. I was like, I really want to just make sure, above all else, like I want to be on time this year. That gives yourself a shot. You got to give yourself a shot to succeed. And the guys like Dallas and the Jimmy, they're very good at timing up a pitcher and just making hard, solid contact. And that's what I noticed in your fast pitch highlights was just it was you were so on and dialed into the pitcher you were facing to where I mean it might not work great against an off speed, but for that fastball you were there and you were ready and you hit it hard. So it's cool. But I'm curious to see now in your first MLW outing. I'm definitely gonna be paying close attention to see how things look.
So giving us like maybe, giving the listeners a little tidbit of what to expect. Um, since you've watched for a few years, is there anyone in the league right now that you could maybe compare yourself to? Like not in like maybe what they've done in their career, but just like kind of their style of play, maybe?
I want to say Daniel. I think I make a lot of contact and I've got a good eye for the zone. Um, Outside of that, I don't know. I mean, there wasn't much showcased of the defensive side of myself, but that's something that I pride myself on a lot is
Ooh.
playing defense. So, Jimmy Norp back in 2020, 2021, when he was really going off on the defensive side of things, I like to think that I'm someone like that.
So Cheatham's shortstop job is in jeopardy because I'm gonna be honest, I like watching Chris play shortstop. It's a sight.
I gotta go earn that spot. That spot's not gonna get given
It's
to me.
true.
I gotta go take that from him. And I think he'd be glad if he's got another good defender out there.
I would agree.
So
I would agree.
obviously with your connection to Sawyer, the Gators was an obvious choice for you to get into the league, and you were probably excited to play with them. If being a fan and just watching the league, I know you mentioned Alec on the Predators, but was there maybe another team that you had in mind, like, oh, it would be really cool to play for this team, or were the Gators the only one really that you wanted to play just because of Sawyer?
Funny enough, Jack, I actually wanted to play with you. I think if I didn't go to the Gators, that would have been a good spot. RJ and I are good friends. I'm pretty close with him as well as Dallas and Preston and a lot of these guys that are already in the league. But I thought that going to the Magic would have been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, good to know. When
Seems
it
like
doesn't
that's
work out
news
at
to
the
Captain, it
Gators,
seems like.
when it doesn't work out at the Gators, we'll make a trade for you. We got a spot, and we need a plumber. We need a plumber on our team.
I need a
guy with
plumber
two
on my
swings.
team, Jack, more than you do, it sounds like. What do you do when the water just is rushing up and you? I'm kidding. But plumbing is a cool profession. I'm a little jealous. Now, year one, Dustin, you've played Wiffle in the Mitten, you've played UWIFs. Like, you have the experience, fast pitch, medium pitch, cut balls, just scuff balls. Like, what are your expectations? Do you think it'll be like an adjustment for you to play the MLW style, distance, that kind of thing? Or are you pretty confident that you're going to come out there in Slate 1 and be relatively game ready?
I think I'm gonna need one pitch to settle in. I think after Dow throws that first pitch, I think I'll be fine. But there's definitely a lot of nerves. I know there's gonna be nerves when I'm out there, but I'm pretty good at adapting, and we play a very similar style here. We're 1 foot further back, but everything else is pretty much identical. So I don't think it's going to be so much adjusting to the style as much as it is adjusting to the nerves.
I like that.
See,
And-
after hearing that, I love my 2-1 Gators pick. I just love it.
That's also my pick, Jack. And Kyle mentioned that you're mostly were drafted for your offense. It was clear in your highlights, but is there any shot that you'll be trying to earn a spot on the mound too? Or are you going to leave that to Sawyer and Jeremy Adams?
I'll just put this in people's head that I had a 0.00 ERA last year through the entire year, which is my league is pretty good. We're pretty good. Obviously, we're not MLW style, but I can pitch. And if it comes down to it, I'll go out there on the mound. But I have full faith in Sawyer and Jeremy. I played with them both. I know their love for the game. So when they're on the mound, I got full confidence in them.
Jack, this kid might be a
Love
stud.
that, dude. I love that. I mean, I wish I would have known he wanted to be on the Magic.
Could have traded up.
Like that would have been good intel. No, I'm just kidding. I wanted. So this is just like you're a plumber, right? You decided to be a plumber. Have you ever considered being a professional cowboy? Because I mean, the name Dustin Staggs is like that's just screaming cowboy. Have you ever thought about it?
I've thought about it, but I'm a motocross rider. That's what I do.
I saw that on your social
I've never
media.
thrown a leg over a horse.
That's a great motocross name too, though.
It is. I actually agree
You
with
got
that
it.
100%.
You got it, dude.
I agree. That's a money motocross name that would look good on the X Games. Like, we got the score bug and the graphic of the names. I could see that fitting up there, Dustin Staggs. You mentioned, last thing I'll say is you mentioned how you think it'll take you one pitch to adjust. You're no stranger to the travel, it sounds like, but does it concern you having to potentially be on a 5-hour flight and then go out there and play 3 games and then having to travel home? Like, does that stress you out at all? Are you a big traveler, or is this like going to be a lot for you think, to adjust to?
I don't think so. I think year round I'm on the move to go play wiffle ball, and even before wiffle ball, I've been on the move to play baseball.
Fair.
Yeah, I've been to Michigan before
Okay.
the Wiffle in the Mitten last year, actually. In 2019, we were out there for the Junior Little League World Series, and we went out there and we won that whole thing as well. So far, knock on wood, undefeated in Michigan. I'd love to keep that going against a tough team like the Eagles, but yeah, I mean, travel isn't a big thing for me. It's something I've been doing my whole life, so it's just another one in the books.
What if there's a lot of plumbing opportunities out here? Would you open up a branch in Michigan?
Listen,
Do you need a
I've
license in a
got-
different state? How does that work?
Yeah, you do need a license per state, which I can't even get mine yet. I need 4 years experience. I've only got 2, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind for now. I've got this company that eventually I'd love to take over, and if things work out, maybe we'll end up in Michigan.
I got one household, one guy that I think could probably keep you in business forever. So there's definitely no shortage of that. Yeah,
talking to
you,
me?
Tommy. Yeah, you. The undefeated in Michigan, that's like a perfect MLW next gen stat once if the Gators like sweep the Eagles, just Dustin Staggs like whatever it is, like 14-0 in Michigan. That's got to be, we got to have that on a graphic. It's got to be on a graphic.
If that's
somewhere.
true, and then the Gators have their out of state event and he's still undefeated in Michigan, I will be fading the Gators so hard in that prediction, Jack. It's only a Michigan thing for sure. But, well, Dustin, I'm looking forward to having you out here now. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the experience, by the talent, by the composure. It seems like I didn't know what your familiarity was with MLW in particular, but it seems like the style you've played may translate very well. So I think we all thought the Gators would have a good year, but now I'm even more confident. So I don't know. Will the mustache be staying? That's also important, I think, and would weigh into my future predictions.
So there's another backstory with that. After Wolf and the Mitten last year, JP and Sawyer were both trying to get me to shave it because we won. And I told them if we won another big tournament that I'd shave it. So we have Ma opening day this upcoming weekend. So if we win that, then I guess I won't have a mustache come Slate 1.
All right. Well, I don't know. That could ruin the mojo, though. I feel like if you're winning, you got to keep the stash. It's like the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, the winning's important, but I feel like my plumber's got to have a stash. You just got to.
Bad for business. I kind of agree.
Right? I mean, come on. He's got to. It's too good. It's simply too good. You cannot shave it.
So don't win the
Well,
tournament.
at some point, me and Sailor will have to team up for something.
Oh, man. Yeah. I wonder if he's still got his going.
Good call.
Do we have an all-mustache team yet, Jack? Sailor's definitely, he's had one going for a bit. We've seen Dan's come and go. Jack, you've rocked a mustache exclusively in an MLW series before, haven't you? I feel like you did.
I can't remember. I remember I did Babyface Shock the Nation, and people did not like that.
I remember that.
I did not get a lot of love for that, so I didn't go back to that. I've done a mustache before. I can't remember if I've actually done one for an MLW series or not, but never say never.
Never say never. Well, it's been a pleasure, Dustin. Nice to meet you. And I guess we'll hope to see you out there here. Me and Jack both did predict the Gators to beat the Eagles, which is probably an upset pick. But after speaking with you, I'm not so sure that it is. So I'm curious to see what the fans think and the listeners think after hearing from you and about your experience, if they think that the Gators have a better shot this season than they previously might have thought, just based on the draft alone. I'd like to think so, but is there any final comments you want to leave the Gator Nation?
Nothing. We got a full season ahead of us to prove ourselves. So people that want to doubt us can doubt us, but we're gonna bring some energy and we're gonna play the way that we know how to play. So I'm excited.
You're welcome back on anytime, especially with that setup you got going.
True.
Do you podcast for your own league? Is that what the setup is? Or are you Twitch streaming or something?
I used to stream on Twitch. I used to be way too good at Fortnite, and I used to stream that, but not anymore.
Got it. Okay. Well, now it's just for when you come on Pipe It Up. So love it.
Works for me.
Love that. Well, sweet. Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate it, man. And we'll hope to have you on again after a stellar Slate 1, huh?
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Dustin. That was a great interview. Didn't know what to expect. Again, we'd never met him. I think that was the first player we've interviewed that I've really never had an interaction with ever in this league.
Yeah. I think so too. That was really cool. That was a new interview for us, and went surprisingly well. So shout out to Dustin. Thanks for coming on and being a Pipe It Up listener. I'm excited to watch him play. Like that interview, honestly,
it fired me up a little bit.
Got me fired up to watch the Gators. Like
it's always fun.
I'm excited.
We're saying that now, Jack, and then when the Gators are like 7-2 at the break, we will not be saying that anymore. But it's fun to root for a team that's on the come up
right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
So cool. Good stuff. I think there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Gators fan. You have back-to-back really great picks in Jeremy Adams and hopefully Dustin Staggs. Let's go back to our prediction conversation, Jack. We had the interview. Let's jump back to the super pick thing. So we're clear on this. We're not going to start it until Slate 2. We're going to wait until we have a loser in points of a previous slate, and then we'll start the super pick to potentially gain some extra points for whoever's behind.
Yep, I think so. And why don't we just say, if we tie after Slate 1, I think the super pick idea is fun. So if we're tied after Slate 1, we should just flip a coin.
Okay.
I don't know if the math with our points or whatever works out to where we could actually maybe be tied. I'm sure it does somehow. There's got to be some way that it works. So
let's see if I can figure that out.
If that's the case, then we'll
so
just flip a coin.
There'll be either a tie or a 1 point lead here. There'll be, there's definitely scenarios where we could be tied because we could all be wrong in every single series. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's just say in Slate 2, we'll start the super pick. We'll iron out the rules, but there'll definitely be a potential advantage if you get it right and a potential it hurts you even worse if you're wrong.
Yes.
And maybe we should make it where it's optional if you're behind, but it's mandatory if you're ahead. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I guess we have time. But we
got time.
Brainstorm and implement. Please share your comments or ideas in the YouTube comment section. We'll be happy to review those. Now, for the wager, Jack, we do got to figure this out too, probably by Slate 2. We didn't get a lot of comments last week on potential ideas or punishments for the loser of this thing. So definitely get on YouTube, share your comments, or maybe even put it on Instagram underneath the reel that we share for every week's episode when it launches. But we're looking for ideas for punishments. We'd love to hear fan ideas. I believe the Waffle House thing came from a fan last year. The only thing I got from a fan this year, Jack, and we'll go through more ideas that I've come up with or you've come up with, but one fan said that we should have to perform an instrument that we've never played before on a college campus until we get $50 in donations. That might be a little tough for me to get on board with. I love where your head's at, but that's a tough one to commit to.
See, okay, you didn't write the full thing in our little notes here because all Tommy has is perform an instrument on college campus until $50 is raised in donations, which I actually would have been kind of excited about because I can play guitar, so I would think that I could get $50. It would take me a while, but at least I've played an instrument. And now that you're saying that it would be an instrument that we'd never played, that would be so hard. I have no talent outside of guitar.
Here's the thing. I feel like if you were, say it was piano for me, right? An instrument that I know how to play relatively well, or if I practiced for a few days, I could learn a couple songs I could play on loop for, hours. But, and that's the case, if that's the case, I'm not as good as a normal street performer would be at that instrument, but I'm clearly competent. So it's he's not that great, but he's not terrible. Whereas if it was an instrument I never played before, it would clearly be so bad and I'd be so desperate asking people for money that I almost feel like I'd get there faster in donations if I just owned up to it and be yep, I'm out here doing this. Please donate. I'm doing my best to entertain everybody. I don't know. I think I would really struggle.
You would have to frame it somehow where it's you lost a bet or something so that people would sympathize with you because keep in mind also, if we're doing this on a college campus, college students are great.
Students.
One thing that college students don't have a lot of money or
unless
they
athletes.
Don't have a lot of is money. Yeah. So they're not going to be super willing to donate for some crappy street performer. So $50 could take a long time.
Agreed. But I like where your head's at. Again, I appreciate the comment.
I do like the idea.
Yeah. But let's keep going. I wrote down a few, Jack. You wrote down a few. First thing I had, this is a cop-out answer, but first thing I thought of, the Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Challenge. I've seen it attempted on YouTube before. It's not a pretty sight. I've heard it's one of the worst spicy wings out there. Just brutally hot, not great flavor. I think the true challenge is 10 traditional wings in 5 minutes. That'd be brutal.
Quick
and brutal.
Minutes?
Yeah, quick and brutal.
Oh, 5 minutes. That's so hard. I don't think I could do that.
You just have to go.
I would valiantly try, but
yeah.
5 minutes is not a long time.
I guess you wouldn't have to actually succeed. I think it would just be you got to give it the old college try.
We talked about this one a little bit, I feel like, on the podcast, but running, I put running a 5K in a suit. A 5K is not that long. Maybe it's some other kind of fitness challenge, but doing it in some sort of ridiculous outfit, whether it's a suit or some other costume that the winner picks.
That'd be fun.
I don't know exactly, but some sort of physical challenge like that where you're you got to push yourself and do it in a very uncomfortable outfit.
Yeah, I like that. Similar outfit, Jack. Although I had a thought after this. I really enjoyed the live stream aspect of last year's bet.
Yes.
I would love to incorporate that into this year's challenge too. But before I thought of that same type of thing, I said the loser has to have their Halloween costume chosen by the winner. I thought that could be pretty funny. Seeing what you and I could come up with to dress each other up as.
Yeah, we could definitely come up with some funny stuff. That's a good one.
What else you got?
I like the live stream.
No, I think
I agree
live
with
stream
you.
is
Like the
great.
live stream was really fun. So I was trying to think of like, okay, other stuff we could do live stream. One idea I had was to do like a live cooking show, like a live stream cooking show, but the recipe is chosen by the winner. So this isn't just going to be like, hey, we're making burgers tonight. Like the winner is going to get creative here on like what the recipe is that person's making. It's probably going to be something they've never made before. And they're going to have to figure it out. So I don't know, that the live stream idea, I feel like that one could be like really interactive because obviously like when you're cooking, there's some time in between. But yeah, I don't know. That was an idea.
That'd be funny. There's a hilarious cooking live stream I've seen, Jack. Some of you may have seen it also, but there's a thing where it requires two people, but it's also very dangerous. So do not try this at home, but it is funny. You have one person blindfolded in the kitchen, and then the other person has headphones on, so they can't hear. So one person can't hear, one person can't see, and the person that can't hear is telling the person that can't see what to do, if that makes sense. It's a disaster. It's so dangerous, but very funny.
That's great. No, that's great.
Similar note, I thought it'd be funny to have the loser have to, put on a suit and live stream a presentation with the topic of the presentation chosen by the winner. So like say, Jack, you lose the bet and I say, okay, I need you to put together a 25-minute slideshow and professional presentation on fossils or just something totally random. You'd have to go up there and prepare something and suffer through that and have everybody watch you embarrass yourself on a topic that you know nothing about. Similarly, you could also have the other person make the presentation and you have no idea what it is and you just have to go do it.
Yeah, the thing that would suck about that is like actually coming up with 25 minutes worth of material, like
it'd be
to
horrible.
Present on. Like that's a lot of time, like to the time that it takes to present for 25 minutes, like to prepare for that is so much worse than like the actual presentation.
Oh, I agree. Way worse. Way worse. So
that's a good one.
What else do I got on here?
I was trying to think of like, just something that like is just miserable to do by yourself. Like, I mean, there's probably some basketball fans out here, but me personally, I would have no interest in like going to like a WNBA game or like it could even be a more obscure sporting event that just like by yourself, like you just have to go by yourself and like whether that's a live stream or not, I don't know. But just doing something where it's like it's inconvenient and you're like not interested in doing it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like go to like a play or like a musical of some sort by yourself. Horrible way to spend a weekend night where you're away from your friends and family and you're seeing Wicked, which you have no interest in seeing. Maybe you do. Wicked's a bad example. It's a famous play, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This one's a throwback, Jack. Just to pay homage to last year. Loser has to drive to the Waffle House in Ohio by themselves, order a waffle, eat it, and then come back. Just spending 3 or 4 hours of your day by yourself going to eat something that we both have probably no interest in ever having again, which is a Waffle House waffle.
Yeah, that's like the same idea as what I was thinking. Just something that like blocks out like a lot of time that you're just like totally you don't want to do. You know what I mean? It's just like sucks to do. It's like, oh, what do you have to do this weekend? Like I have to go eat one waffle.
Drive to Ohio to eat a waffle and to come home.
Yeah.
Again, probably not as fun for the viewer, but it'd be a funny thought of like if I was, enjoying a Saturday morning home, whether it's like doing grocery shopping or going to the gym and I'm like, oh, Jack's driving to Ohio right now by himself.
Yeah.
I'd almost feel bad. I'm too nice. Last but not least, I had on here, I love this idea, but it's not a live stream idea. But it'd be The winner chooses a song for the opposing or for the loser, and the loser has to post a video to their personal Instagram page of them dancing to that song for maybe 30 seconds and leave it on your page for 24 hours with no context.
That's pretty good. I mean,
It'd be tough.
that is definitely public embarrassment. I don't know how we could embarrass ourselves more than the Waffle House stream already, but
I lost a lot of pride in the Waffle House stream, I'll be honest.
Yeah, posting it to your personal Instagram, that's definitely different. I would definitely probably have some people asking me what I was doing when I posted that. So
yeah, I'd get some question marks, but it would be funny. Yeah, I still am a bit. I'm really disappointed in myself for my performance at the Waffle House last year. I didn't see it coming. I really thought I flopped hard. That fifth waffle just humbled me as a man, let alone as a competitor, but as a man.
I was gonna say I don't really know if you can blame yourself as much as you just got to credit that fifth waffle and the performance that he made.
The chef did me so dirty. I ordered 2. I should have only ordered 1 at that point. And that one was already overcooked as it was. So then it just sat there and got very, very hard. And I just couldn't. I still can't describe, unless you do it, I can't describe what I was feeling in that moment to anybody else. It was like my body just was telling me no. Like, stop eating immediately. Like, I couldn't chew. Like, my saliva was no longer breaking down food. Because my body just was no longer, I think that's kind of what happened. Like, my saliva was no longer breaking down food because my body just did not want any more calories or sugar or anything that was in that waffle.
I mean, I do think the best part about that was definitely the fact that it was live streamed. I really like the live stream.
Me too.
Because of like the interaction. I think it's like it's a reward for these listeners too, to go through this challenge with us and these picks, and then like be able to actually watch like what the thing is. So I think that's where we gotta lean our ideas toward.
I agree.
Like trying to do some sort of live stream. So whether or not that's another eating challenge, I mean, I don't want to just do eating challenges like constantly. It could be some sort of physical fitness challenge or something that's equally as miserable, but it doesn't have to always be food. I don't know. I feel like we could get creative, but we got to have ideas from you guys too. Like Tommy said, I think the Waffle House one was submitted by a fan last year, and that's what we ended up doing. So let us know in the comments on this video, on the Instagram videos, wherever, on the MLW main page. I don't really care. Like, just let us know. Give us some ideas.
I like that. I think live stream, it's got to be geared towards live stream. I agree with that. But I'm excited to see what the fans come up with, what you and I can come up with to make it exciting, fun, and just another thing to reflect on every week throughout the summer. It's just fun to have that ongoing banter. So
yeah,
it's here. After this week, we will see who's in the lead in the challenge. Mallards D-backs this Friday. Definitely gear up for another exciting season. Should be a good one. A lot of talent, a lot of new talent, and fun places we'll be going, it sounds like. And new format, no divisions, new postseason format. It's just a lot to be excited about. So, Jack, I wish you good luck this season. I will do my best to represent the podcast well. And that's about all I got this week. Anything else from you?
No, man, I'm happy. I'm excited that it's back. New faces, new places, same bat, same ball. It's going to be a great year.
Well said. Well said. Well, we'll see you all Friday, and we'll be back next week to talk about opening day between the Mallards and the D-backs. We'll see you next week.
Pipe it up.